Oh, you all good.
Uh, all right. So again, thank you for taking the time out to speak with us here at Imprint Entertainment. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. I appreciate y'all reaching out. You know what I'm saying? It means a lot. I appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. So just tell us about how growing up in Hayward, California shaped who you are today, both as a person and as an artist.
I say, I spent most of my life out here. So I say I kind of had it rough a little bit growing up, you know what I'm saying? Because we wasn't like, having the best income and stuff like that. So going to school, I usually had to take the bus or like walk, but it was always cool because of the people I had around me. And like, you know what I'm saying? I was always with my friends and stuff. So I say growing up out here wasn't nothing too crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I used to be going back and forth from Hayward to Oakland a lot. So when we would stay in Oakland, like with my nana, that's probably when a lot of character traits probably, you know what I'm saying, built up at that
Hmm.
time. But besides that, it was cool in Hayward.
And when did you first realize music could be more than just a hobby for you? Was there a particular moment or a song that made you think this is what you wanted to do?
So it's kind of funny because my pops did music and he used to rap.
Okay.
So when I was like, I want to say when I was like six, I remember when we used to stay in Hayward over there on Thelma, he used to have my cousins and stuff come over, my uncles, and they used to be in the room. And I used to be standing at the door and I could just hear them like doing ad libs, like running through verses, playing beats and stuff like that. So at the time, I was just like, man, I'm standing at the door, I'm listening, I'm bobbing my head, freestyling. And I'm thinking like, I probably could do something with this one day. And then once I hit like middle school, that's when I used to start doing like little car raps. Like I would get on the instrumental, sit in the car, rap some. And then people at school start telling me like, you know what I'm saying, you actually pretty good. So at that point, I was like, I might as well just take it on one and try to see what I could do with it. Cause, I always had the passion to do it.
So your new EP, Acrylic, is a deeply personal project. What inspired you to name the EP Acrylic, and how do you see it as a reflection of your music and life experiences?
The reason I went with it is because I always like, just art in general. Cause, music is considered an art, but I'm talking about like
Mhm.
paintings, drawings, all that kind of stuff. It all ties in together. So I used to love painting, like especially in school. And acrylic, the definition of it is basically like it's a very versatile fiber. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just most people think of like acrylic nails and stuff like that, but like acrylic
Mhm.
itself is actually like, a fiber that is used for plenty of different things throughout art. So that's why I felt like, there's a lot of different emotions and a lot of stuff I'll be going through that I express in my music, which is kind of like the same thing because words can be versatile just like that. So that was the reason, what I'm saying, I wanted to name it that.
So each song on the EP seems to touch on different emotional experiences, just like as you said, it's versatile, such as
Hmm.
heartbreak, self growth, and vulnerabilities. How do you decide which emotion or stories to explore in your music?
To be honest, it's kind of weird because I feel like the beat always brings it out of me. Like once I hear the beat and I can kind of like sense the vibe in it, I could already tell like what direction I want to go towards as far as like topic wise. So like whatever emotion I'm feeling the most that it drags out of me, that's usually what I like put on the beat.
Okay. And
Hmm.
the opening track, All I Ask, sets a personal and emotional tone for the whole project. Can you
Hmm.
walk us through what went into writing that song and what it represents for you?
What it represents for me is most of the time I feel like it I feel like it just represents honesty in a way because I feel like there's a lot of times where people will be having like underlying things that they might want to say or like they don't say because they don't know how somebody else to take it or something like that. But to me, I always thought honesty between each other is always important for like any relationship. Like you know what I'm saying. So I feel like all I ask is that what I'm saying, you be 100 with me, I'll be 100 with you, and we can go a long way just off that alone. Like you know what I mean. So I
Mhm.
feel like there's a lot of relationships probably in my past where maybe not everything that was said should have been or that should have been said was said. And you know what I'm saying? I'd be just thinking about that and it came out on that song.
Acrylic has a lot of introspective, especially with tracks like Bad Guy. How
Mm.
do you approach writing about your own flaws and mistakes, especially in a way that still feels authentic and not too self deprecating?
Well, I feel like it's because like, us as people, we all go through the same kind of we might go through different emotions in different ways, but it's all like that's really what tie people in together. So when it comes to like self-reflection, a lot of people don't want to talk about maybe what they might have done wrong or like, they never think about the other side of the story. Like you're not the good guy in everybody's story. Like same way other people ain't the good
Right.
guy in your story. So sometimes you just got to take that on the chin. Like if I'm not what's good for you, then that's cool. If you then you're not good for me, then that's cool too. But so I feel like it's important to also realize and grow from mistakes you might have made that could have made a difference. You know what I mean?
On the track alone, you're emotionally open, reflecting on pain and personal battles. Was it difficult for you to open up like that in your music, or does it feel natural to share these kinds of emotions throughout the whole EP?
I'll say for that song, it was definitely a little bit harder because,
Mhm.
you know, me personally, I don't like to get all into like, religion and like faith and stuff like that. But, there'd be times where I feel like maybe I wasn't praying as much as I should have. Or like, there's only times where I was praying where it was like, something happened or like, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. And I just felt in that moment, it was just like one of those days I was just having like a really bad day. And I was in my head and I was sitting in the car. And then when I was listening to the beat, like, I don't know, it did something to me to where I was like, a lot of the times when this does happen, I'm alone, I'm by myself. And that's the one time I feel like there's somebody there with me when I'm going through it. Like I'm not by myself. So that was really a hard song for me, but it's one of my favorites for sure.
Okay, and you've said that acrylic's a versatile medium in the art world, and you want your music to have the same range. What emotions or experiences do you hope listeners will feel when they listen to the EP Acrylic?
To me, I feel like, a lot of people be telling me my music's sad. Like I got sad music, like, they don't like to be in their
Mhm.
feels and stuff like that. But the way I see it, it should make you feel like, like you're not alone. Like, you're not the only one that's going through it. And like some people might not have like, how would I say that? They might not be able to express like how they feel through words the way they would like to. And that's why I feel like music is a good outlet for that because they might not be able to say how they want to, but hearing somebody else say what they feel like is going through their mind because they went through the same type of experiences, I feel like that's really like the way I could connect with a lot more people. Like, you know what I mean?
And you've spoken about how your music can be as impactful as physical art. Do you think about your songs like you would about painting a visual piece? How do you see your music in the artistic context?
I definitely feel like it's somewhat I feel like I hear music way different than I might view art. But like I know some people who take art like, a lot more serious than they do music. Like they feel a lot more emotional pull from looking at something that was painted or drawn than they would listening to a song. But I just say for me personally, like music is that for me. Like, you know what I mean? But sometimes I be seeing paintings and stuff that go for like millions of dollars. And I'll be like, man, like I think I don't know. I don't see what somebody else is seeing in that, but it has its own beauty in its own way to certain people. And I feel like music is the same way. Not everybody gonna like your music, not everybody gonna think it's good, but you appeal to who it touches. So as many people as I can touch, I hope I do.
So you've had a remarkable rise in the music scene, especially with hits like Don't Go and Unseen Stars. How do you think your sound has evolved since your debut album, Perfect Storm, and the follow up, Tough Love?
I feel like it's just been a little bit more like progression with my writing and then a little bit of my singing because I've been doing a lot more like experimental stuff with my voice instead of just like the usual tone I go for. So I say it's just something a little not too different from what I've done, but just a little like yeah, just progression. I say just a little tiny progressions, but I just take baby steps with it. That's all.
Okay, and you worked with a lot of different collaborations throughout your career on acrylic. You've got songs like My Mistake with Lil Bean.
Mhm.
How do you choose who to collaborate with, and what do you think they bring to your sound?
To be honest, when it comes to the collaboration part, it's just like whoever I vibe with the most, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that one wasn't even too planned. Like when I was recording that song, I was already thinking I could hear being on it. And then it just so happened he called my engineer while we were in the studio and he was like, "Oh, y'all in there?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah." So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna pull up." So he came through, heard the song, he liked it, literally went in the booth, same day, same night, went in there and then spit his whole verse, freestyled it off the head. So that came out in a beautiful way because that was unexpected for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's usually how it happens. Like, somebody might hit me or I might hit them, and then, just catch a vibe and make a good song.
And being from the Bay Area region with a rich musical history, how has the Bay's unique sound and culture influenced your music and journey as an artist?
I feel like just ever since I was growing up when my pops slapping Mac Dre, E40, like, you know what I'm saying? Just the classics. It's just like, I know my music probably doesn't pertain as much to the hyphy, like, you know what I'm saying? I like the Bay is known for, because a lot of times people don't even like think I'm from the Bay, you know what I'm saying, with my sound and stuff like that. But I say it definitely influenced the way I make music because I feel like my writing, my wordplay, and like stuff like that. A lot of Bay Area rappers, I feel like had like good wordplay and like the way they might have said something, and I'd be trying to take those like little details and just put them in my song, even though it might not sound like the hyphy stuff people are used to. It still has a little bit of technique in there, so you know what I'm saying. I picked up a little something along the way.
So you've achieved so much already with millions of streams and a growing fan base. What's next for you? What do you hope to accomplish in the next year, both musically and personally?
Musically, I mean, I feel like I kind of have the overall just same goal for everything. Like I just want to, touch more hearts if I can, because I love the when people are hitting me talking about their experiences and like how my music might have helped them through like a difficult time in their life. Like to me, that's really like nothing really tops that at all. Like I just want to touch more people. That's all.
And with Acrylic just being released, how are you planning to keep momentum going from there? And are there any upcoming projects, collaborations, or tours you're excited about?
Definitely another project coming. Like I don't want to say super super soon, but I'll say pretty soon. Within like definitely, if not the end of this year, top of next year for sure. But I'm not gonna leave everybody waiting. I know they hate when I do that and I don't be dropping because I'll be taking little gaps and stuff. But I promise I'm gonna be back on top of my stuff.
What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want people to remember you, not just as an artist, but as a person as well?
For me, I want people to remember me by playing one of my songs one day, like way in the future, and then just thinking about the time, like that helped them in that moment. Like, because I feel like I got a lot of songs like that where I go back and I listen to them, like a lot of oldies and stuff, and I just be like, there's certain points in my life where I turn this song on and it might have saved me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It really brought me back. So I just want people to think of me like that. Like, damn, he helped me when I was at my lowest, and I'm thankful for that. That's all.
Okay, and your lyrics often reflect the journey of self-improvement. Looking back, uh, what are the biggest lessons you've learned about yourself since starting your career, and how have those lessons shaped the way you approach life and music now?
I'll say one big lesson was like sometimes you got to realize some people that's in your life right now ain't gonna make it to the end of the story. That was kind of like a big thing. Like, some people you might have grown up with, but like was with you for a long time, you know them for a long time. Sometimes like, as much as you don't want it to happen, people end up growing apart and it's just a part of life. You know what I mean? My pops used to always tell me about that, but I wasn't really trying to hear that. I'm like, bro, I got it, you know what I'm saying? These are my peoples. But yeah, that was a big lesson I had to learn. Another lesson is that, never try to never try to keep doing exactly the same thing you're doing, even if it's working. Like sometimes you gotta like step out of your comfort zone and like try new things. And that made me like, try a lot of different beats, a lot of different flows and stuff like that. So I feel like it's always important to remember like to be versatile when it comes to this because nobody wants to, deal with the same thing forever. Like, you know what I mean? There's always a different way you could approach making something.
So as you spoke about your fans and how you want to keep them fed, you've built a dedicated fan base. How do you keep that connection with your fans while continuing to grow and evolve as an artist?
Really, I just expect them to trust me. That's all I can really do. I just hope they trust, like, I'll continue to be me, continue to like make the music that's, what I'm saying, actually helping people, like, what I'm saying, with some substance, like, what I mean, give them something they could feel. Like, what I'm saying? I feel like nowadays, I'm not saying artists don't make music that people could feel, but, you want to hear those songs that you feel like maybe could last forever. Like you can always go back and listen to those songs because it does something different to your heart, you know what I mean? So I just hope that they trust I can keep doing that and or at least try to keep doing that for as long as I can.
Tell me what's your favorite track on Acrylic and why?
I'll say my favorite track on there probably is because it's between two. It's between I Will and Thank You, but I think Thank You got it. Only because
Okay.
with that song, that I usually don't get on those kind of beats or like even explore that lane right there. But when I wrote that, it just I don't know, it gave me a whole different feel than anything when I was like writing into those like, the usual beats that I do. I didn't ever think I could get on a beat like that. But then once I started flowing and it started coming to me, I was like, this is really beautiful. And like every time I listen to that song, I just think of appreciating somebody, just saying thank you to somebody or
Yeah.
like, appreciating the people around you.
One artist or producer you love to collaborate with in the future?
Mm. I feel like maybe DJ Khaled as a producer, just because DJ Khaled and Dr. Dre always been like, if I get a beat by them, I just want to have it, even if it's not like, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
my favorite beat or whatever, just to say I got a beat from them would be amazing. But as artists, like, I don't know. whatever artist feels like they want to do a song with me. That's all. I don't really think I want to
Okay.
say anybody in particular.
Okay. And if you weren't doing music, what do you think you'd be doing?
Probably playing basketball. That was like my first love
Oh,
before. That was really my first love before the music for real. But music overtook. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to the league. I was like, yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna stick with the music once I got out of high school.
Okay. And what's one piece of advice you give your younger self?
Just keep being you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what your environment is, no matter like, you know what I'm saying, how much people try to tear you down or try to say you might not be able to do this or do that, bro, just keep doing you. And then eventually, if you really have enough faith and belief, bro, it's gonna work out. So don't let nobody change your mind.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us here at Imprint Entertainment. Yatta Bandz.
What's going on, y'all? It's Yatta Bandz, and I'm here with Imprint Entertainment.